afternoon, good evening, friends. We are here once again, and I want to say thank you so much for the engagements that I've received in the course of the week following the topic that we covered. We started covering last week. Thank you very, very much. Let's keep the engagements coming. We are all learning and relearning new things. This is how we are going to transform our lives. It's our responsibility. I like to say that when you take control of your finances, then you take charge of your life. And we said this is the decade for economic transformation. As the government is helping us, we are also taking charge at a personal level. So we started by looking at creating a personal strategic plan. As I drive my employer's strategic plan, my organization's strategic plan, I am also driving my own strategic plan. So we looked last week at 3 things that we need to as we approach the new year, what we need to do in this quarter so that by the time new year comes, we are ready for it. And we saw that we have to be intentional. That was the first thing we learned. The second thing that we learned is that it is going to be written. What is written gets done. What's not written, it never sees the light of day. And number 3, what we're writing down is a vision, a simple vision for our lives. Where do I see my life in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years? As simple as that. And I believe you have done a lot of soul searching to get to where we are today. So today we are going to look at how do I create then a personal strategic plan. Lucy, you're telling us it doesn't have to be complicated. It needs to be something simple, but how do we do it? We've seen organizations engage with experts. They pay a lot of money to do that. Is that what you're telling us to do? So no, that is not what I'm telling you to do. We are here today so that we can learn together how we are going to do that. And I said a personal strategic plan does not need to be complicated. It's something just easy. It's your own vision for your life. Instead of seeing your life in reverse, you want to see your life forward. You're transporting yourself 5 years from today, 10 years from today, and then you're looking back. So where do you begin? Take a pen and paper, and we just look at 3 things that I again want us to do in the course of the coming week. The first one, if you're ready with your pen and paper, we said it must be written. The first thing that you do is to analyze your current situation. We call it facing the man in the mirror. This is where you're sitting down with yourself and analyzing where you are today as it is. You're being as authentic as possible. So you're asking yourself, how much am I earning today? How much am I earning today? What's my gross income? What are my expenses like? How many debts do I have? And you're looking at all the debts from the smallest to the largest. Don't worry, even if it is so much. Don't worry, even if some of it you're not paying. Don't worry. Just face this man in the mirror. Write it down. How much do I owe? Number 3, you're looking at what are my current assets. And we defined, if you have following me, you know we have defined as assets the way Robert Kiyosaki, the guru of personal finance, defines it. Anything that gives you money is what you're calling an asset. So you're asking yourself, what assets do I have? It could be some piece of land that you bought. It is lying somewhere. You've never even visited from the time you got your title deed or your share certificate. You know you have a plot somewhere. Write it down. What is the value of it? Write it down. Then what are those other assets that you have? Anything that you think gives you money, write it down. And write how much money, whatever it is giving you money. So that is step number 1, facing the man in the mirror, looking at your current financial situation. Then number 2, you want to ask yourself, how did I get to where I am? How did I get here? What are those things that I have done right in the course of the year? What are those things that I've done right from the time I started earning that have contributed to the place where I am in? So that if, for example, I am in a situation where I am badly in debt, what are some of those mistakes that I made so that I overcommitted myself? What are those debts that I took? What did I do with them? Probably it is not even debt you have taken. Probably you have just mishandled your finances. And in mishandling your finances, I'm saying here, you have spent your finances without a plan. The salary comes, you spend, before the end of the month it's finished and you find yourself having to borrow so that you can bridge the income. You know you've told yourself, I should be budgeting for how I spend my money. But the practice is you do not budget. So what are some of those mistakes that you have made? Did you spend your salary carelessly? Sometimes it may not be mistakes that you have made. It may not be you mishandled your salary. It will just be like naturally you have a lot of commitments. You took over too many of commitments. You have your own personal commitments, family commitments, extended family commitments, what we call black tax. They are all those demands, and you took all of them. Probably you didn't have a choice, but you were forced by circumstances to take up all of them. That is how you got to where you are. So you're asking yourself, what are those things that I did that got me to where I am? Is it debt you took? Is it you spent money on things that you shouldn't have spent? Is it investments that you did and they turned out wrong? You were putting down what are those things that you did. And then number 3, you're asking yourself, what am I going to do differently from 2023? Remember, we started by talking about being intentional in the way we approach the year. So we are saying, before 2023 comes, I already know what are those things that I am going to do differently. For instance, probably I'm telling myself, I've not been saving as much as I should be saving. So you are saying my priority in 2023 is that I am either going to start saving, or I have been saving, but I want now to boost my savings, to increase my level of savings so that it can contribute to that life that I am seeing in 5 years, to that life that I am seeing in 10 years. Probably you're telling yourself, I am going to invest more. Maybe you already have savings and you're telling yourself, I am going to be more intentional in how I handle investments. In that space, you might now want to say, I have made mistakes in the past in the way I have invested. Going forward, I am going to consult an expert so that I can invest better. Maybe you're telling yourself, from next year, I am going to have an emergency fund. I have been living my life ad hoc. I get my money, it's finished. Tomorrow, if something comes, whether it is an emergency involving myself or my family or my extended family, then I find myself having to rush to borrow. So you're telling yourself, from next year, I am going to apportion a part of my income towards creating an emergency plan. So those 3 things. Analyze your current situation. Face the man in the mirror. Ask yourself, how did I get here? What are those things I've done right? What are those things that I've done wrong that I've found that have made me get to where I am? Number 3, what are those things that must change 2023 going forward? So let's look at that. Let's internalize. Let's interrogate that. And then we meet next week and see how do we proceed from there. I wish you all the best. This is the place where we are learning, we are unlearning, and we are relearning because we want to create financial freedom from our personal finances. Take control of your personal finances. Take charge of your life. All the best till we meet again.